In the previous episode, we talked about the story of Jesus' crucifixion. In this episode, we explore how Christianity transformed from a persecuted faith into one of the world's major religions. After Jesus' death, several of his closest disciples continued to spread his teachings. In the early days, spreading Christianity was extremely difficult and often dangerous. Many believers were persecuted, imprisoned, or even executed for preaching their faith. Jesus' brother James became a key leader of the early Jerusalem church. After Jesus' death, he led the believers in continuing their mission. But since Christianity was regarded as heresy at the time, James was eventually arrested and executed in 62 CE. According to historical records, he was thrown from the top of the temple and then stoned to death, an exceptionally brutal punishment. Another figure who profoundly influenced the spread of Christianity was Paul. Though he was not one of Jesus' 12 disciples, he became one of the most important missionaries in Christian history. Today, we often hear the name St. Paul. Many cities, churches, and even universities are named after him. Paul was originally a devout Jew and had even taken part in the persecution of Christians. He was born in Tarsus, a city within the Roman Empire, which granted him Roman citizenship, a privilege that offered legal protection and exempted him from arbitrary execution. This status later allowed him to travel and preach freely across the empire. According to the Acts of the Apostles, on his journey to Damascus in Syria, Paul experienced a vision of Christ. That moment completely transformed him, from a persecutor of Christians to one of their greatest advocates. From then on, he devoted his entire life to spreading Christianity. He traveled throughout Asia Minor, Greece, and Cyprus, establishing numerous churches and laying a solid foundation for the new faith. The central idea of Paul's teaching was universal salvation. He believed that redemption was not limited to the Jewish people. It was for all humanity. Anyone who believed in Jesus Christ could be saved. This idea allowed Christianity to break free from the ethnic boundaries of Judaism and rapidly attract followers from Greece, Rome, Armenia, and beyond. It was this inclusiveness and universal spirit that gave Christianity its extraordinary vitality. However, during the early Roman Empire, Christians continued to suffer persecution. One of the most notorious persecutions occurred under Emperor Nero. Nero is remembered as one of history's most controversial tyrants. He ascended the throne as a teenager and was infamous for his cruelty and extravagance. He even killed his own mother. It is said that he fell in love with his friend's wife, forced his empress to commit suicide, and later, in a fit of rage, kicked his pregnant wife to death. Overcome with guilt, Nero descended into madness. He even found a young boy who resembled his late wife, had him castrated, and married him. Such grotesque behavior made Nero one of the most terrifying figures in Roman history. In 64 CE, a massive fire broke out in Rome and burned for 7 days, destroying much of the city. Although there was no concrete evidence, many suspected that Nero himself had started the fire, since he had once remarked, "What a splendid sight it would be if this beautiful city were consumed by flames." To deflect public anger, Nero blamed the Christians, accusing them of arson. He then ordered a brutal massacre of believers. According to historical accounts, hundreds of Christians were crucified, burned alive, or thrown to wild beasts in the arena. During this persecution, both St. Peter and St. Paul were executed. Their martyrdom became one of the most tragic yet glorious chapters in Christian history. In Christian scripture, particularly in the book of Revelation, Nero is symbolically portrayed as the beast, the embodiment of Satan. The number 666, often associated with evil, is believed to represent him and the corrupt power he wielded. That's all for today's episode. In the next one, we'll continue with the story of Titus' siege of Jerusalem and the great Jewish diaspora. Stay tuned.